So, the most important thing I found to do when starting out a Deep Rock Galactic mission like this is the first thing you do, immediately throw a flare as soon as you get out. I started the recording a little late. As you can see, there's already a flare out. Your most important thing to do when you start, once you throw that flare out, run completely around the drop pod, check around, see if you got any Morkite or any of your secondary. As you can see, I look up, see the Morkite, and I send Bosco on it. This is a tip for solo, so it doesn't really work well with two people, as if you were playing Scout and with two people, you would most likely be the one to go get that. But since you're doing solo, you have Bosco, and you can just send Bosco to mine away while you go start doing other things. So as you see here, I sent Bosco up there to start mining, even though if you look in the bottom left, you can see Bosco is not actually like mining. I didn't click on it right. I clicked right above it and made him light it up. So I go back and do that. But while Bosco is mining Morkite for you, you can go do other things. Or sometimes like this, if you're playing Scout and you use the hover boots, instead of using the hover boats to save yourself from damage sometimes, you can use them to keep yourself up in the air to mine some more while you're playing solo, if you don't have like an engineer to place the platforms for you. Right here, I just wanted to get my health back, and I didn't have my hover boots equipped, so I just grappled up, hit the health, because I knew some more would drop on the ground. So, you see Bosco's all done, we put it all in Molly. We go. A really important thing to remember when you're going through these missions, and like Deep Rock Galactic in general, not even a solo thing, is you've got to remember your power swing. Your power swing can be one of the most, it can be like the best thing you use. As, like in this mission, I constantly use power swings to break open the Eva Nut, so I'm not wasting 3 swings and wasting that much time. Just walk up, power swing it, grab it, and get out of there. Now, in this area, I'm not, as you can see in the bottom left, I'm only Prestige 1. I haven't played very much. But from my solo experiences, most of my experience is solo, and I've seen a lot of people do a lot of multiplayer things. That would be a good idea to get some more solo experience out there. To be most efficient, you could not go for things like the Barley Bulbs and the Cropla, but it's not very much time loss for a very good thing to have to upgrade yourself later on. Sometimes if your flares are on recharge, sometimes it's worth it to use some of those, your flare gun, in order to light up an area. Like right here, big areas, you always want to use the flare gun to light it up. Right there, I sent Bosco to mine the Morkite so I can do my own thing and get the Eva Nuts, where I fail at grappling, but I'm still learning. It's not really necessary that you use my setup. I've kind of grown towards the, I don't know what it's called, the rifle that I'm using, where you can charge stuff up, because the Glyphid Praetorian almost died or got halfway down in one hit. Yeah, power swings, they're really important even in, like, not even just mining situations. You can use those things to, like, take down those Glyphid Praetorians. Even if you don't have a shotgun, you're playing, like, gunner or something, if something's kind of low, you can just power swing it. You're probably going to die. So again, right here, you send Bosco up to do Morkite, while you go down and get the Eva Nut, even a golden loot bug that was down there. Call Molly down as soon as you drop into an area that you want to go down. So by the time you're done collecting everything, Molly should be down it, because Molly is kind of slow.
Need some free space. The tin can is surely hungry today.
But when moving around, as you saw me do, you can use your grappling hook to get around quicker, even if you're just picking up ore and not moving very far. It just speeds up that time a little bit more than walking around. Right there, another important thing with power swings. You can power swing and grab at almost the same time, so when you're playing Scout, you can grapple up, power swing, and grab an Eva Nut right from on a wall while you're going up to a destination. Really important when you're going through walls, you saw me do, you can pull up the terrain scanner to see exactly where you're going and kind of aim in that direction. And depending on which way you're looking, Bosco will mine in that direction. Bosco doesn't just mine to the other side. Bosco can sometimes get stuck. And when you do send Bosco mining in these tunnels like this, it's not very efficient because it's really hard to mine when Bosco's in the way, as your pickaxe will constantly get stuck on him. So I would suggest either not letting him mine and having him do other things, or having him mine that and you go do other things. Because having both on the same thing is kind of just as efficient as having one. that gold right there next to me, I'm skipping for now. I told, like, once the Morkite's done and we're going back up to the drop pod, since Molly is slower and the Scout is the grappling hook, you can totally grapple ahead of Molly and start cleaning up some of that other stuff you miss along the way. City flares down. I'm low on flares. But sometimes if you don't feel like it's worth wasting a flare, you can always use your headlight. It's not that bright, but it can also still spot like the glint of Morkite in here.
Donkey, come here.
Yeah, I ran out of flares, so I used a flare gun. Made it a lot easier to see without, like, I'm only doing solo, and it's Morkite mission. There's not going to be very many big rooms that you're going to need tons of flares for. You're not going to be fighting big hordes of enemies. And I went and got this ore because it was in the wall and it's free. It does take a little while, but it's kind of worth it at the end to get those resources to upgrade your weapons and stuff, as I talked about earlier. Remember to always use your grappling hook to get up faster. And in situations where the Morkite's almost right next to you and not on a wall higher up, it's kind of sometimes better to just go for the Morkite yourself, because you could definitely mine it faster than possible. This is another reason I like using this rifle, is taking down the big plants like the Brood Nexus and the other one that shoots spit at you. You can just shoot those weak spots with a fully charged one of those, and it takes them almost down in one hit.
Reloaded.
Again, here you send Bosco to start mining Morkite while you take care of other things. So it's kind of like having two people, but you're only doing solo. Bosco fully cleared that out, so I can go back and grab the Morkite, go back up to Molly, and dump all the Morkite in there. Now, once you get to this point in the game, as you see, we're at 14 out of 14 Ebenuts, but there's no point to get any more. So don't waste time collecting more of the secondary resources if you don't need them. Same thing with Morkite. Getting extra Morkite, getting extra Ebenuts, getting extra any secondary material or Morkite does not give you anything extra upon the mission being over. So there's no point in grabbing it. You always want to keep track of your Morkite. So right here, I look at my Morkite counter. You can see that you have 40 left, and there's about 40 in every Morkite vein. So I can put Bosco up there, and I know I'm not going to be able to go anywhere because I look at this terrain scanner to see if there's any other rooms. I'm like, nope. So you pull out your grappling hook, hover boots, and you just get up there and help Bosco go faster. And you're getting close to 40, so you just hang out, mine a little more. There's your 42. You come over, deposit at Molly, and immediately call the drop pod. And then right here, you can see it's been 8 minutes since the mission began, and we have primary and secondary objective completely done in a Hazard 2 mission.
Prepare for multiple impacts. Step lively, team.
And now there's something that comes right here that was kind of a rare coincidence. They had meteor fragments coming down, but I already called the drop pod for Molly, not Molly. Normally, as I was talking about with the power attacks, they're really good for these things, as one power attack and one normal hit can bust open one of those. But since Molly was already going up, and I knew if I got one of those rock box cores or whatever they're called, I would have to bring it. I'd have to walk with it all the way back up to the drop pod because Molly won't let me deposit it when she's running away. So I decided it's not worth the extra little bit of experience you would have got. If you haven't already called Molly, it's perfectly fine to go for those things. Those things give you enough experience to make up for the time you spent wasting them. And something you saw back there, sometimes when those meteorites or sometimes recalls do that, they can make big holes in the ceiling, and Molly can just like totally go up them. That's why I really like playing Scout in these situations, as when Molly goes up there, you totally have no idea where you're going. But if you have Scout's grappling hook, you can just grapple right up after her. In situations like these, I like to use the boomerangs as you're running away back up to the top to gather a little more materials. You could just throw a boomerang at any enemies that come up that are bothering you, and they get stunned and possibly die. Like in that situation, there was a glyphid on the bottom and a glyphid right on top of them on the ceiling, so the boomerang just bounced up and down and killed them both. That's a pretty rare, but usually you can like stun glyphids for about 10 seconds, which gives you a lot of time to do stuff. So right here, I'm looking around for any materials I might have left. As right here, it is gold. As we're still waiting, we can't do anything until Molly gets back to drop off. So we go after some gold before Molly gets back while we're waiting. You know, kind of screw up some grappling hooks. I look down, I see my hover boots are refreshed, so grapple up there, use some hover boots, get a little bit more gold while you're at it. Wait for Molly to go up. Deposit all your stuff, and then just go sit right by the door and wait for it to come open. That's 10 minutes. 10 minutes for a mission is pretty quick. You can average about 6 missions an hour if you go, if you're doing this efficiently enough with Morkite missions. But yeah, that was my quick guide on how to finish Morkite missions quickly. More episodes might follow, depending on if I actually have the mental capacity to do something like that. So, see you later, I guess. Bye, people, whoever's watching this.